Well, hello there. Do come in. I haven't seen you here before. Ah, so you've just come to chat, eh? Well, then why don't you have a seat over there? It seems you've arrived at the right time. My famous Alpine mint tea has just finished brewing. It has a wondrous quality of relaxation. Ah, now that we have our tea, you like to hear a few stories? Oh, hey guys, it's me again, Natural Wizard. Welcome back to my channel. But before I get started, I have something I'd like to say. I've been noticing on several occasions random people commenting stuff like, "I always skip your intros, they're stupid." Okay, it's fine if you skip the intros and don't like them, but I just have to say, I'm not going to be like every other Reddit channel out there. No bland copy-paste intros for me. And if that's what you like, fine, just skip the intro, I don't care. But if you couldn't tell, my channel does have a theme to it, and I don't plan on only producing Reddit videos forever. There. Now that that is out of the way, on to today's content. We will be taking our 8th expedition through the subreddit of I Don't Work Here, Lady. Oh, and I hope you packed your amulet of time, because we will be taking a trip back to the year of 1998 to witness the story of Hurricane Karen. So, without further ado, let's begin. Alright, this first one is called Lady Insists I Open a Business I Don't Work For. Okay, as I stated in another post, the store I managed was connected to a McDonald's. One holiday, when they were closed, I happened to be working. Not happily, as I was supposed to be off holidays, but someone called in, so I'm busy stocking some items when I hear it, the huff of a wild Karen, preparing to work itself into a tizzy. Excuse me, there's supposed to be a red box in this location. Keep in mind, I'm not in the best of moods already, and this was said in the snottiest tone imaginable. Keeping a incredibly strained smile on my face, I tell her, yes, there is one over in the McDonald's. Here's where I committed my cardinal sin. Not usually working on the holidays, I had the audacity to forget that they weren't open today. Cue Birch Mode level 9000. Obviously, since it's not in here, could you go open the door so I can return my video? Now fully cognizant of the issue, I take a deep mental breath and I tell her, I'm sorry, no, I don't have the keys to their doors. They are a separate business. Initiate hypersonic Karen screech. Bullcrap! You are obviously employed by the same company. You are in the same damn building. Further attempts at reasonably explaining that this is not the case falls on deaf ears. At some point I have to take a break from trying to translate logic into crazy to check out a customer. At this point Karen tells me, you can ignore me all you like. I am not leaving until you help me. Being a helpful sort of fellow, I nod amiably and begin to write on a piece of paper, handing it to her after I finish. What the hell is this? Well, you said you wouldn't leave until I helped you. Given your complete lack of ability to listen to reason, I have figured out your true problem, and I'm trying to help. That is directions to Center Point Hospital. They are great at dealing with mental illness or substance abuse, whichever your issue is. At this point she lets out a screech like a, you know. I don't think anything in nature has ever made a sound like that.
I want to speak to your manager.
Okay, let me go get him. I walk into the back room, walk back out again, and say, what seems to be the problem? She is now sputtering incoherently and storms out the door, spewing invectives and what I can only presume are threats to contact corporate to get me fired. Bye Karen, do come again. So yeah, this guy seems like he's definitely dealt with this type of person before. The way he just kind of slid that paper to her like, hey, you know, you might want to go get yourself checked out. There might be some sort of chemical imbalance in your brain. That's pretty savage, squad fam. Anyway, let's go ahead and move right on to that next post. This one is titled, EMT Mistaken for Retail Worker. So I'm an EMT, and I work 2 jobs. One is a 911 service that's pretty fast paced, and the other is a non-emergency transport service where we don't stay too busy. About a month ago I was working my non-emergency job, and I realized I didn't bring my cell phone charger with me. We weren't busy at all that day, so I told my partner I needed to swing by a store and pick one up. We got to the store, parked the rig, and walked inside. I went to the electronics department, and my partner walked over to the outdoors section. Now, my uniform at this particular service is a red button-up shirt, black tactical cargo pants, and black boots. Absolutely nothing like the store's uniform, but whatever. So I'm standing there looking at chargers trying to decide which one I want, when I hear dumb psycho biatch, DPB for short, clearing her throat in an obvious attempt to get my attention. I turned and looked at her, nodded my head and said, "How are you, ma'am?" Then turned back towards the chargers. The craziest crap I've ever witnessed.
Well, I'd be better if you'd stop shopping on the clock and do your job.
I slowly turned my head back towards her with my mouth hanging open in complete disbelief. Lady, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about how I need help, and your lazy butt is shopping instead of helping me. I'll give you one chance to help me find what I need before I find your manager and have you fired.
Now, I know I could have just explained that I don't work there, and probably ended it there, but this lady needed to learn her lesson. No, I'd rather you just go find my manager.
What a piece of crap.
She storms off and I finish picking out a charger, and about that time my partner walks up. I tell him what happened, and he says I must be exaggerating. That's just too crazy. Just as we're turning to go to the register to check out, I see DPB turning down the aisle with a manager in tow.
That's him there, the big one with the beard. I want him fired immediately.
The manager looks extremely confused at this point. Ma'am, I'm sorry for the confusion, but he doesn't work here. Our uniforms are blue, he's wearing red. I don't know why I gave the manager a Scottish accent, but I guess it just felt like it. Sorry if I butchered it. At this point, my partner and I bust out laughing, and DPB's face turns as red as our shirts, and she starts screaming at the manager.
Then I want him thrown out of the store. I have never been treated this way before. Screw both of you pieces of crap.
Ma'am, they haven't done anything wrong that I can see, but if you don't lower your voice, I'll have to remove you from the store. The lady turns and storms off while still yelling about how unprofessional this is and how she'll never come back to this store. The manager apologizes to us, and I tell him what started the issue. He thought it was hilarious and laughed about it, then walked with us to the closest register to check out. While we're checking out, our radios go off for an emergency transfer at the hospital about a mile away.
Female patient 24 weeks pregnant and in preterm labor needs to be transferred to a higher level of care.
We rush out to the ambulance, and as soon as my partner puts the truck in drive, a car stops right in front of our parking space, and DPB jumps out, phone in hand, filming herself acting like a damn fool.
These are the crap holes that embarrassed me in the store. I will not let them get away with it. I want your names and your manager's number right damn now.
I roll down my window and lean my head out. Ma'am, our unit number and our company phone number are on the back of the ambulance. You're more than welcome to take a picture of it while we drive away, but we have a call and don't have time for this. Please move your car and let us leave.
I don't give a fart about your call. Screw you, prick.
Lady, I just told you that we have a call. If you don't move your car, I will call the police and have you charged with obstruction of emergency medical service. I'm not asking you again. Move your damn car. And as soon as I mention the police, she walks back to her car, still cussing at me, and gets in her car and reverses it so we can leave. I call my manager to give him a heads up. I don't know if she ever called or not, but this definitely made me realize what retail workers go through and respect them more. Well, I'm sure we can pretty much all guess what kind of haircut that lady had. But seriously, trying to block an ambulance from taking a call? I think this lady's been eating a little bit too much sugar cereals.
All right, prepare yourselves. The time has come to travel back in time to witness the story called Hurricane Karen Attacks, Saga of the Great Ice Storm of 1998.
So this happened a long time ago, more than 2 decades as you can see by the title, but it still sticks in my memory, even among the many crazy things that happened that night and even that week. Not everyone had cell phones yet, though lots of people did. This will matter later. The storm was intense. It was alternating between heavy rain and freezing rain. Very intense wind, not quite a hurricane, but strong enough that it was breaking off small branches. It was dark, full dark. The storm was completely blocking out the light of day. The clouds were thick and deep. They must have been thousands of feet thick to be that dark. Massive cumulonimbus, totally full. The storm had lost some of its speed since it had hit the coast, but none of its fury. Power lines started going down. Then even some of the poles. I had been visiting my parents at their home. My little sister was also visiting from college, as was my little bro. They had time off and I was able to just not take any contracts that month, so I could go out there. Anyway, it's my adult family. After we had all made amends with my dad, who had stopped drinking all the time and had apologized to us for the past. I was cooking on the antique wood-burning stove with my mom for dinner several hours later when it happened. Something driving down the street. We could hear them even through the sound of the storm when they came around the corner and lost control on the sheer ice. They were lucky they got caught by trees on the snowbank, because the river is right there. Even though it was frozen, it runs fast, so the ice never gets as thick as some places. A car could pierce through it. My family sprung into action. We knew they were going to need help getting out of the snowbank at the very least. First aid or more at worst. Dad grabs the first aid backpack from the wall in the kitchen where he keeps it, beside a full-size fire extinguisher. He was a logging camp medic at one time, early in his foolish youth. He dealt with very serious, life-threatening injuries in the past. We all run to get into our heavy snow gear, then put rain gear over top, also the heavy boots for Arctic expedition. We all put on our ice climbing gear. This is taking too long. We grab storm lights, halogen ones for the deep dark. On the way out, we grab shovels and pylons, and flares out of the back of the car, then run out of the garage. My little sister takes snowshoes and heads to get the neighbors. There could be more cars. This is the only road if you're going deeper into the countryside in this direction. Then we slide down the toboggan run we had between our home and the cottage my parents own just below the home on the hill. This takes us from just the other side of our driveway, all the way down to the ditch beside the road where the car crashed. It's a family of 4. We check if anyone is hurt. They're fine, just a little shaken and scared. The car is stuck and they don't have anything to get it unstuck. While my mom is talking to them, I have already started shoveling. My little bro beside me is shoveling too. There's already a crust of ice on everything. My dad starts setting up pylons, weighing them down with dirt, sand, snow, gravel mixture off the side of the road. Then the next car comes. It's the hour that commuters would be coming home now. I would have thought they would have stayed home. We knew the storm was coming, but no. Lots of people decided to go out. We dodge out of the way, climbing up and away from the out-of-control full-sized sedan. It careens straight into the first car. Luckily, my mom had already got the family to get out of the car. This wouldn't be the first year we had a pile up, and it wouldn't likely be the last. The corner was killer, right at the bottom of a long hill, and another corner in the opposite direction so you can't see it coming. There are signs, but people ignore them, especially overconfident locals who take the corner at speed. Today, though, the ice was clear. It was getting thicker. People were gonna keep crashing here. My dad and I started helping them out of the car. These people were strangers again. This family was actually hurt, but it wasn't too bad. The size of their vehicle had somewhat protected them. Big boat of a thing. Only the wife had an injury that really needed attention. She had smashed her head against the window. It was bleeding, so my dad rushed to help her, pulling gauze pads and surgical tape from the first aid pack. At this point, my little sister arrived with 2 of the sets of neighbors. The others weren't home, she said, except Deer. He's getting salt. They had shovels and flashlights, but just digging wasn't going to be enough anymore. One neighbor, let's call him D, had a cell phone and called 911. I didn't hear any of their conversation. We were getting the family up the hill a bit, to our cottage. My mom started making a fire in the wood stove. The power was already out at this point, so there were only candles and wood stoves or gas only. Anyway, my mom and dad have started laying out the injured as cars keep arriving every few minutes and crashing, even though we have set up road flares up the road. There was no chance we were just getting people unstuck at this point. We were just getting the injured as good of treatment we can until the actual paramedics can arrive. Problem is, they're swamped. It's a small municipality. There is a hospital and it does have ambulances, but only 3. And they're all already on calls. They'll get to us as soon as they can. But the highway further up the way from us has already claimed lives. Holy crap, the storm has already killed people. There are now a lot of people. I never did get a good count on how many. Neighbors from further away have come out to see what they can do to help. This is Canada. We help each other in the winter or everyone would just die. I was helping our latest impromptu guests into the cottage. It was getting really full in here. We were going to have to start bringing people up the hill to our home soon. Then it happens. Hurricane Karen. In her defense, she was no doubt under stress. We all were. We had invited her inside just like we had with the others. The little cottage was very full of people, so not everyone had somewhere to sit. All the beds were being used by actually injured people. A few people had been seriously hurt in their crashes. Thankfully, the corner hadn't claimed anyone's life yet. Hurricane Karen walked up to D, who was on the cell phone with CAA, coordinating all the members who were here and needed towing, passing it to the other people when they needed to give their info and confirm it was them. The dispatcher was very understanding that we would need several tow trucks and promised we were in the queue, is what we were told by D.
Give me that phone, I need it!
No one knew who Karen was. At this point, a few of the families and random people who had crashed were actually people we knew. She didn't even give him a moment to answer. She grabbed for it.
Give it to me! You're giving it to everyone! Give it to me!
At this point, it's already an adult temper tantrum. She went right to 11 in 0.5 seconds. Whoa there, lady, calm down. I'm talking to CAA to get tow trucks here to help everyone. Do you have it? The more members that are here, the better, for getting them here faster, I'd think. Karen sees I have arrived back. She turns to me, pointing her finger in my face.
You work here. You make him give it to me.
What? Lady, I don't work here, I live here. He's trying to get help here for everyone. Please calm down, there's no reason to yell. I'm sure he can lend you the phone when he's done with the emergency people. Look, there are a lot of cars piled up and people are hurt. Stop. The whole time I was talking, she kept trying to interrupt me. My dad came out of the bedroom area at this point. He had blood all over his clothes, and he looked super tense. Hurricane Karen wasn't done.
Screw you! Do you know how important I am? I am the
redacted local political person from a neighboring municipality.
I'll have you fired!
Lady, are you serious? We helped you out of your car and brought you into our home, and you're behaving like this?
You can't treat me like this. My battery is dead. I have to call my son.
Calm down. You can call your son when D is done. I'm fully shouting at this point, just like her.
I'll get you fired. Get me your manager.
You can't fire me. Just stop. I don't have a manager or even a boss.
You have to give it to me.
Dad, interrupting her, full rage shouting. He has anger problems even still, even without being drunk.
Nothing! We will give you nothing if you don't stop this right now! I brought you into my home! Be cool or you're going back into the freaking storm! Is that what you want?
I would like to say my dad is a normally nice guy, but he's autistic somewhat like me. High functioning but with social interaction turned down significantly. He wasn't kidding. He was fully about to kick her back into the storm. My dad just turned around and walked back to the people who were hurt. His anger was implacable. It was probably almost as scary to Hurricane Karen as the storm. Though thinking about it in retrospect, the fact that he was covered in blood was probably why. She didn't say anything else. She just sat down and shut up. The storm was by this time raging even more intensely than it had been. Trees had been coming down extensively. No one wanted to be out there, not even her. She got her turn to use the phone eventually. Unfortunately for her, one of the other people in the cottage had been one of her constituents, and the Hurricane Karen lost her job. No one died under our watch that night. The road was closed not only because of the corner, but because lots of trees had fallen in the road up the hill. Everyone eventually got towed. Some people went to the hospital. By the next day, power was out across the eastern seaboard, more than 1,000 miles north and south of us. It took weeks to recover. More than 100,000 car accidents in just one night. 26 dead. Countless people newly homeless. It was the biggest disaster I've lived through. Damn, what a story. Someone's actual experience in a devastating storm, mixed with an entitled Karen who happens to think that their home is a miraculously placed disaster shelter, and ends up treating them like retail worker servants, because she just happens to think that you work there, at your own home. Damn, that is one crazy lady.
Do you know how important I am?
No, who the hell even are you? And if you could not yell in my home, that would be appreciated. But yeah, that's about all I have time for today. So it is now safe to all remove our amulets of time, because we have safely returned from our trip to the past. I hope you have all enjoyed this episode of r/I-don't-work-here-lady, and thank you all so much for watching and spending some time with me. And as always, don't forget your tea before you go.